I got the top ones.
All right. Well, it is lovely to see you, Kendra and Bev. Welcome to episode 8 of Around the Table with the AOTR. Can you guys believe it? Um,
Oh my gosh.
right. So today we're going to talk about how the Epstein List seems to be unraveling MAGA at an exponential rate. Um, and Well, let's just start with you. Go ahead, Bev. Tell us what you think about this. What is your observation in this?
Gosh, it is just, it just stymies me that nobody listens until it affects their perception of reality. And I am just astounded by the idea that because he has made the promise in the past, oh, we're going to reveal the Epstein list. We're going to reveal it. We're going to reveal it. And now he's backing on it. And people are like, wait, you promised that we were going to reveal this. And they finally are, this one piece of information that they hung on to is now unraveling everything because they're realizing that he doesn't do everything he says he does, that he says he's going to do, um, and he lies. And, until it affected one of their pieces of their worldview, they didn't see it. And it astounds me.
And what do you think, Kendra? What do you have to say?
So, I mean, like I told my husband, it's kind of mind-boggling to me that all of these things that he's done that affect the people around them wasn't enough to shatter the illusion. It took this. And for me, it's like the likelihood that he is on that list just went skyrocketed because he is pushing back so hard against the existence of this list.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, on the one hand, I totally get where Bev was coming from, where it being like, well, why was it this? But on the other hand, I think that says a lot about America. And I think this is a very big, important point here. And I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and I said, what this actually shows you, and this is for all MAGA and every Republican that is actually listening, um, we have a lot more in common than y'all realize we do. And guess what? What is the one thing that we're supposed to be? The United States of America. So here's the thing. This is at a point where what we have realized is that we all have one common thing we agree with, and that is that it is not okay to traffic children for the purpose of assaulting and actual exploitation.
right.
So that's something that I think that people really need to let stew is if there were anything that should unite the people, it should be the children.
That is true.
Absolutely.
Of all of the things that we're talking about, the thing that should be what we are trying to make a better America for. And if that's what they were about, if you really want to make America great, you got to accept that it never has been, first of all. And it's great that you want to do that, but in order to do that, you have to be building a world where the children are protected so that they can flourish and there is a next generation so that those things that you're trying to get made into fruition are carried on and built. Otherwise, if you destroy the children, there is no nation. Like, um, and that's what I think everybody, like, they're like, I can't believe it was this thing, but I've been sitting back going, no, if there were ever anything that should unite this country in doing the right thing to get rid of this person who is a charlatan, It should be so that we don't have another Epstein Island incident ever, ever, ever occur with any connection to the United States.
Right.
So that's something that the people that have been on the other side of the fence that we've been trying to tell you, it's not because we hated you, really. We've been trying to shake you, do you not realize what a monster this guy is, that he will tell you that he's going to sell you the Emerald City and it's going to be a damn miniature the size of your pinky? Like, it's a trinket in your pocket, and the moment that he thinks that you're no longer on his side, you're going to become squashed just like that trinket.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the kind of person that he is. And you are so right, because the pushback and the amount of trying to distract, and I'm drinking Coke right now. I don't know if you guys have heard, the biggest announcement he made today was about how Coca-Cola is going to have cane sugar from now on, and it's just so much better. It just tastes so much better. Not that I disagree. But
what the heck?
But of all the things that you could be like, and at the same time that you're talking all this and we just need to be so happy about what's going to happen to Coca-Cola, you're over here saying things like this right here. And this is what I think is really funny. He's tried to turn around and reframe all of this. He says the radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again, just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made-up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes, are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They are no good at governing, no good at policy, and have been no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history.
I mean, that's so laughable. I mean...
And all these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. You don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again.
I can't with this guy.
Like, it's so hard.
Oh my God.
It's so hard to keep a straight face when you're reading anything he says, because it's like this guy sounds like Farquaad.
Right?
Oh my God, doesn't he?
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Okay, I never put that together before, but here we are.
My attention to this matter, sir, is that you really don't want me to pay attention to this matter. So now, like any smart woman, I want to know exactly why you don't want me to pay attention to this matter.
Right. Why are you diverting attention from it? Why Coca-Cola? I mean...
I know. Oh my God. That just... Jeez.
He said in another article that I saw on NBC News, he said in his, of course I just read his blistering tooth social post, and how
Lord.
He's just obviously like, like he said, let those weaklings continue forward and do Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want your support anymore.
I'm sorry, sir. The red flags were there a long time ago, like when he was talking about his daughter.
Oh my God, I know. The Ivanka stuff has been the creepiest. And I was one of the first people. I was like, Listen, like, if you go actually look up Ivana Trump, his first wife, and all the stuff that happened there, she did retract some stuff, but then this man goes and buries her when she dies in his golf course. I mean, everything that he does is just petty, ridiculous, grudge holding, hate filled retaliation and revenge at every corner. That's like, if you don't think that he is the greatest thing on the face of the planet, and the moment you're disillusioned, you know, like you're totally completely broken of the spell, and you finally see him for what he is, then he doesn't want your support anymore.
That's fine. I'll be a problem.
He said that he's lost faith in certain people because they got duped by the Democrats. He said this is a major problem and could hurt turnout in the midterms. It signals betrayal to those who believe the president would expose the deep state. His team made promises and then doubled down. And that's what some of the commentary is. And of course, now in this particular article, it says the White House did not immediately return for a request on the comment there, which of course they're not going to, because, you know, that will just, like, he's already saying basically screw everybody, and that's already a big enough, you know, PR nightmare to deal with. But in other news, I don't know if you guys had heard, but Maureen Comey, who was the federal prosecutor who was over the Jeffrey Epstein and the Ghislaine Maxwell case, along with the Diddy case, just got fired by Pam Bondi. And I think that that's significant for right now.
Oh, very significant. Geez.
Yeah, show you're not trying to cover up something by trying to get rid of everybody involved.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the people that were particularly... And after Diddy got off, too. So it's like, this doesn't... People, like, I was talking to someone last week, and she goes, well, those are totally different, you know, they're not related situations. I was like, see, that's where you're wrong, though.
But they are.
They are totally related.
Yeah.
They're totally related. The white parties that Diddy had were another form of place that they procured. This is in the network, and that is important, and I feel like it's really important that I say this now, because yesterday Stephen King did something that I feel like we have to talk about, you guys.
Yes.
Stephen King posted this tweet, said the Epstein client list is real, so is the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus, and everybody came unglued. And the thing is, the day before, I had literally posted a status on me.Also saying, I don't care if it's my most beloved celebrity, anyone who was involved that went to that island for the purpose of what they did to children needs to be imprisoned, and everybody deserves to know, the entire world deserves to know exactly who they all are.
Yes.
And for Stephen to post that, it just, and some people have said, well, maybe it was a hack, but hold on to that. There's another thing that was said, well, this doesn't mean that he's on the list. And I said, you know, as much as I would love to believe that, if you're not on the list, why would you say something like that?
Right.
Like, why would you, especially whenever you're a person who has capitalized and made money off writing stories teaching us that the biggest monsters to fear are human beings like these. It
See,
just...
the interesting thing, but the interesting thing is he used to be a really big, I think it was cocaine addict. And one of the things that I was reading about today was him talking about It and that notorious scene in It.
Yes.
And how he wrote that when the whole scene was fueled by coke and alcohol. And, you know, I'm like, you know, I don't want to believe that he was involved, but somebody that was heavy into drugs like that, and popular and rich, it's possible.
It's definitely enough to where it made me go, you know, okay, I'm gonna have to reassess my support for this. And then he came on hours later, doubled down, saying, boy, I hit a nerve with that Epstein post with the laughing emoji. The list is like UFOs. Everyone knows someone who's seen one. And that just is like... So I felt that it was important, and I actually wrote something today, and it's called the Epstein List, Unpacking Important Information. Because I feel like some syntax is being lost in translation with this, with people saying there is no list and all of this other stuff. And so I feel like this is important, right? The Epstein List is really a network of exploitation that needs unpacking. It's not like it's this, oh, Jeffrey's list of chomos. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what people are expecting to find, like just this written list that has Jeffrey's list of chomos at the top and then a bunch of people that's if that's what Stephen meant by that, that is true. That is not something that exists that we know, okay? But it's really that it's the Epstein files. Do you see what I'm saying? The notion of the Epstein List has permeated public discourse, conjuring images of a singular damning document detailing every individual involved in Jeffrey Epstein's vast ex-trafficking operation. However, that popular conception is a simplification, to be honest. There may be no direct officially titled Chomo list in the legal or investigative records. However, that doesn't mean that there's not a list of people that are involved. Do you get what I'm saying? Instead, the Epstein List likely entails a complex aggregation of various documents and testimonies that, when pieced together, illuminate the intricate web of individuals connected to Epstein's illicit activities. Let's explore the components that constitute this list and underscore why understanding its multifaceted nature is crucial to comprehending the scope of Epstein's criminal enterprise. First is the fabric of the list, which includes diverse evidentiary threads, because the Epstein List is, in essence, a compilation of evidence that investigators, prosecutors, and survivors have painstakingly assembled. The evidence include flight manifestos and travel logs, which are perhaps the most publicly recognized component and are what people are probably associating the most with the list, if you get what I'm saying. These records document the passengers on Epstein's private jets, famously dubbed the Lolita Express. These logs provide concrete proof of who traveled with Jeffrey Epstein to his various properties, including his private island, and when. They offer a tangible link between individuals and the locations where abuse occurred. Epstein's black books, that is his address books, and contacts information, which are personal records seized during investigations, containing a wealth of names, addresses, phone numbers, and other contact details for a wide array of individuals. They include high-profile figures from politics, business, and entertainment, as well as lesser-known associates. These documents are vital for identifying the individuals that Jeffrey Epstein communicated with, revealing the breadth of his network and potential participants in his crimes. Next comes survivor testimonies and depositions. The courageous accounts of Epstein's victims are a cornerstone of the list. Through their testimony and formal depositions, survivors have briefly detailed their experiences, often identifying individuals who participated in, facilitated, and benefited from the abuse. These first-hand accounts provide a crucial corroboration for other evidence and offer a human dimension to the horrific crimes. Then there are the financial records, bank statements, wire transfer records, and other financial documents that shed light on the monetary transactions within Jeffrey Epstein's network. These records can expose individuals who funded his operations, received payments from him, or otherwise profited from the exploitation of minors. Following the money often reveals the hidden connections and motives. The money trail, everybody knows that, right? You also have to consider any digital communications, emails, text messages, or other form of digital correspondence that might provide direct insight into conversations, arrangements, and the knowledge possessed by individuals within Epstein's orbit. These communications can reveal explicit discussions about the procurement of girls, logistical planning, and attempts to conceal illicit activities. Then take into account the forensic evidence. Any physical evidence collected from Epstein's properties, such as photographs, videos, or personal belongings, can further contribute to the body of evidence. This material can offer visual confirmation of individuals' presence, document specific acts, or provide further clues about the scope of the operation. It's really important to recognize the list goes beyond a simple roster and understanding the implications of such. The absence of a single definitive CHOMO list does not diminish the gravity or clarity of the evidence against Jeffrey Epstein and his associates. On the contrary, the multifaceted nature of the Epstein List underscores the sophistication and secrecy with which the criminal enterprise operated. The interconnectedness of these various documents and testimonies reveal a systemic pattern of abuse and exploitation rather than isolated incidents. The conviction of Ghislaine Maxwell for her role in procuring girls for Epstein and Prince Andrew's significant settlement payment to Virginia Giuffre to avoid a trial are stark indicators that the allegations are not mere speculation. These legal outcomes demonstrate that the cumulative evidence comprising the elements of the quote-unquote Epstein List was compelling enough to establish guilt and avoid further legal scrutiny. If there were nothing to hide, as is often argued by those seeking to downplay the severity of the situation, these legal repercussions would not have materialized. Therefore, the quote-unquote Epstein List is not a literal roster of child molesters, but rather the comprehensive body of evidence that details the business transaction of an ex-trafficking ring and the format to access the product paid for. It is a testament to the fact that even in the absence of a straightforward list, the truth of a sprawling network of exploitation can be unearthed through diligent investigation and the courageous testimonies of survivors. That's what people need to really hear here. Let's get past this bullshit. It's bigger than just a list. It is a comprehensive set of files. It was folders and folders, binders that she had on her desk, not a list. And now she's getting away on syntax saying there is no list because she can say there is no list under those syntax guidelines and it not be a lie. That's called a loophole, Americans. That's how they get away with it.
Percent.
So if they want to say there's no list and it's as pretend as the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus, okay. I'll give you guys there's no CHOMO list that's written like that. But there are files and files and binders and binders and binders of information. And all of these people that have done this and paid money, that this doesn't... People like Prince Andrew don't pay money if it's bullshit. They sue you to oblivion.
And people don't walk out of the White House with binders that say the Epstein files on them either.
No, they do not.
Right.
A woman doesn't go to prison who's now trying to fight to get out, saying that she's willing to sell things out after she did all those things if it wasn't something for her to be in prison for.
There's something to it, and we all know it.
What about all the pictures? And then how did he go from talking about... I mean, that's the other thing. I'm sorry, Mr. Trump, but some of us have been alive long enough to remember what the hell you said 20 years ago. It's like he totally seems to forget that.
Yep.
You said that he was one of your best friends and one of the greatest men you knew. That's a quote you said about this man. What about all of these countless photographs that you try to deny to ever exist? These aren't AI photographs. These are photographs that all of us have seen in our lifetime in periodicals. Actual, tangible, because we grew up when they still had stuff like that more than they have now. I can remember going through the grocery store, seeing all of the countless tabloids and the popular magazines, and especially when he was at the height of The Apprentice, and all of the things he was saying about different people, and he was like at the gloriest of his glory days and thought he was the biggest turd on the damn mountain.
Yeah.
And it's like he thinks that, bro, in 1996, I was the age of the girls you were trying to procure. I remember. And I'm not the only one.
Nope. A lot of us were that, we remember those.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us also got the ick from him from the time that we were that age.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember just thinking he was such a nasty man, even when he was younger.
he's
Yeah, I remember seeing the stuff because like 96 I was like 8. So I mean, like, I remember when The Apprentice started. I didn't know much about him before that, but when The Apprentice started, and I just remember seeing the ads for The Apprentice and going, "That guy's an asshole."
yeah,
And just got the
I never liked
just
him, and
cringed. Ugh.
my best friend's grandparents used to watch The Apprentice a lot, and also Big Brother. When the first summer that they came out, and they were super popular, right? And every time they would go and put it on, I'd be like, is there anything else we can go do? Like, can we go listen to
Right.
music? Can we go do something else? Because this is boring, and I couldn't. I've never liked him. I've never liked him. It's not something new, and it's not just because I just picked him out of a hat to not like him. That's not something I do. It's because his vibe from the moment that I seen him just made me go, whoa. And then the more popular and more he advanced, and like for the longest time, the only Trump I really respected was Ivana when she said, "Don't get mad, get everything," you know, like out of First Wives Club. But I think it's really telling how, you know, people will revert back to the fake news, to the fake news, to the fake news. And even him's trying to say that this is fake news and blaming it on the Democrats, when we can go back to some of his campaign messages talking about how first thing we're going to do is get you that Epstein list and get you everybody that's on it. We're going to make them pay for what they did. And then MAGA was like, yeah, and they're all about it. And it's like, the Democrats are not the ones that came out with the information. This was not a partisan thing. Because here's the thing, America. People from every party went to that island to party together. I'm going to tell you something. They didn't care what party they were when they were getting their orgy on.
Oh, absolutely not. Everybody in that document, anything in any of those documents, flight registers, whatever, they all need to be held accountable no matter who they are. Period.
And it's like they think it's a gotcha. Well, you know, if they release that information, then it's going to take down Democrats and everything else. And I'm like, good.
Yeah.
If they're abusing children, good.
Yeah, because that's the difference with people who actually care about the betterment of all the people and the country. Is we're not going, this isn't, if you could prove to me that every last Democrat was out there doing the same thing along with the Republicans, I'm going to tell you that they all belong in the same place. And
Absolutely.
I'm not a nice judge when it comes to how I feel about people that do things like that to children. I honestly believe if anybody deserves to be penalized with the death penalty.
Oh, absolutely. Full stop.
And that's one of those things that people have been like, that's pretty severe. And I'm like, well, look at the level that these people went to. It's one thing if it's somebody that's a predator who's under the care of a therapist and they're seeking help and they're doing the thing and they're reporting and they're doing all this stuff with their probation officers to continually keep themselves from reoffending. It's another thing when you're opening a network to find a way to get rid of it and to take people out in the middle of an island where they can never get away to do those things to them. Like, the level of depravity is why I say that they deserve that. And now that's what I'm saying. I don't care what party they're, I don't care if it was my most, and some people even said, well, what about, like Johnny Depp might be on the list or this.
He can go down too then. Go down with the ship.
I mean, if you made the decisions to do those things and you didn't try to stop it, you're complicit. That makes you a fucking bad person. And I don't care how much I admired you. I don't care if you were my blood. If you do something like that, you need to pay for your crime. You need to do your time. And unless you've come out and you've actually publicly admitted it and you're seeking the help that you need from the right kind of specialist to intervene with something like that, and you're taking accountability and owning it, if this man really isn't as guilty as Jeffrey Epstein himself was, he would be releasing this 3 days ago saying I'm innocent and exonerating himself and making every last one of us look like a damn fool right now.
Yep.
He can't, though, because he doesn't have that. He won't release the list because he's on it. And Stephen King making fun of it after everything that's happened, he was somebody that's inspired me a lot. I'm not going to deny it. Like, the same thing when it comes to, like, the different things that have come out about Gaiman, and if there were any other authors that it comes out about that happen to be involved with any of this, I'm going to say the same thing, even if they are some of my heroes. But I told a friend the other night, I can say one thing for sure, because my biggest influence has been Anne Rice. Mm-hmm. Even above and beyond Stephen King, okay? Like, that is the one person. If Anne were still alive today, she'd be the first one calling out this bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she's passed on, of course, but I also believe we will never find her name on those logs. She's not the kind of person that would have participated in that bullshit, because she knew exactly what it was. She recognized it for what it was, and she wrote about the monsters from an aspect of letting you know there's a lot more to this than just the simple vampires. And I think that that's something to hold out for. Even if you do find some of your biggest heroes are on this, there's always other people who didn't do it. Look for the ones that didn't sell out. Go start supporting the people that are independent, the people that aren't selling out, because it's people like Bev, Kindra, and myself that, even though we're that talented, we're not willing to sell our souls and go be involved or turn a blind eye for them to go predate on children in order to make the big bucks. That doesn't mean we don't deserve them. But that's where people need to be more conscious about what they support and put their money into. And paying attention when people are pointing out. A lot of times when somebody's telling you something, it's not necessarily because they don't even like the person. In the beginning, when it came out that Trump was going to run, me telling people about him was because I was literally like, there's no way you guys are actually going to vote for this guy, right? Like, look at this kind of stuff that he says. I didn't actually believe that they would make a joke of themselves like that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's just like he said at one point that if he ever ran for president, I'd be a Republican because there's stupid constituents out there.
He did say that. Which is ironic, because he talks, this is something else I think is really important, Bev, because he talks now so much crap about Democrats. Donald Trump used to be a card-carrying Democrat, my friends. Regularly involved in the DNC for a long time. Regularly hung out with the Clintons. Talked so much shit about Hillary because he used to be one of her bestest friends.
Yeah. And didn't he couldn't get the nod from the DNC for the presidential race, so he switched. He moved to the other side. That's
happened. He gerrymandered.
Yep.
And then he was like, and that's why when I said, I think the funniest thing about this Republicans, GOP, y'all got hijacked by a con man who turned your party into a freaking cult joke.
The laughingstock.
And now you're sitting here going, Mr. President, this or that. And then, I've seen some of you lighting, your MAGA hats on fire. And all I can say is, I don't want to push away anybody who's coming to the light. Please come to the light. Come out of the darkness. Help us make America what it belongs being. Return it back to some state of normalcy. This madness is beyond what anybody wants to deal with. And none of us want our kids carted off to be raped, okay? None of us. That is the common ground we can all look at. As Americans, we can all agree it is not okay to do these things to children or to protect the people who do. Off that, we can build something.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, on to our regular scheduled programming. Kindra, how is your green thumb doing?
Oh, awful. Awful. I have done nothing out there because the peacocks will leave for maybe a day or two, not come back, and then there they are again. So I haven't even attempted to go out there and fix anything that they have damaged in the garden.
Aw.
Yeah.
Have you found anything that will work as a deterrent?
We've been looking online at different things. People have suggestions, and one of the biggest thing that people talk about is getting a dog, because they don't like dogs. They will not come around if you've got dogs on your property. And I'm like, I don't want a dog.
That's more responsibility, right?
Right, another mouth to feed, more things to take care of. And like, I work a full-time job, guys. Like, I can't go out and take the dog out all the time. Just not an option for us. And our cat that
What
lives
if you
outside
had
is
dog
terrified of these
sounds?
things.
Like, what if you played dog sounds in the yard?
I never thought of that. I don't know if it has to do with like the sound or like the smell.
Maybe you could get dog pheromones and dog sounds, something that'll play the sounds, and that will make them think that there's a dog. So if you could trick them into thinking that there is a dog, even if there isn't, that might help.
Maybe, but
do you have any friends that
then
have
my
a dog
concern
that
would be
would come
drawing.
and bring the dog over and let it pee in your yard?
Oh, you know what? Actually, so we have like this old camper beside the house. It's really old. And a friend of ours is actually going to be moving into it, kind of like a roommate kind of thing, and she does have a dog.
Well, see, that might help. So there you go.
We'll see what happens there.
All right. Well, what about you, Bev? What do you got for our mental health with all this craziness we got going on?
Oh my gosh, I have been racking my brain trying to figure out a good place to start for today. And we've talked about that whole concept of radical acceptance, accepting things you can't change. And I think, like, in DBT, we use a lot of what's called distress tolerance skills. And distress tolerance skills there's a bunch of them. And, I could go on all day about different distress tolerance techniques. But the main idea behind distress tolerance is that our brains don't know the difference between when they should be freaking out and when they do freak out. So you have that fight, flight, freeze, fawn. I'm just going to call it fight, flight. But the fight or flight instinct, and your brain flips out on it. And, that lizard brain. And I think I've talked about that before a little bit. But, just in general, distress tolerance can do a lot for you. And I think I'll just talk about one particular skill that I really like that anybody can enact very simply. And it's called the stop skill. And it's very simple. DBT is horrendous for acronyms. There's like a million of them. But the stop
Right.
skill is an acronym. And the S does stand for stop. And the idea is that if you're in a situation that your emotions get high, then the first thing you need to do is stop for a minute. Stop whatever you're doing. Stop whatever's triggering you. Get away from it. Remove yourself from the situation. Get to a safe spot. Something like that. And then next is the T, which stands for take a step back, which you want to get a good view of the situation as objectively as possible, because without throwing judgments on it, without, saying, well, this is a terrible situation. Well, what is the situation? Terrible can mean different things at different times in your life.
Right.
Like, the spaghetti pot just boiled over and all my spaghetti is ruined. It all burned on the bottom.
Versus you're about to get hit by a tsunami.
I don't know, something like that. You got to take a step back and say, okay, well, this thing has happened. Now we're going to observe the situation, which is your O. And you really take a look at what's going on, and then you can stop, take that step back, get away from the situation, observe what's going on with objectivity. And then the last one is to proceed mindfully, which is the concept that you do so thoughtfully, because a lot of times we react instead of respond. And so the stop skill helps you learn to stop reacting, because the first sensation that you have, the first instinct that you have, is usually that gut reaction or that instant reaction to something. And a lot of times it's not right. Or it's not necessarily not right, but it's not appropriate to the situation or appropriate to meeting your goals. Like, you may react to another person's anger by lashing out at them, but that's going to make the situation worse. So you've got to, stop whatever you're doing and then take that step back and look at it objectively and think to yourself, okay, what is the best way to get through this without causing more damage and making the situation as best as I possibly can so I can reach my goals, which may be even just to survive the day. So you can use it in a lot of situations, and I really think it's an underused skill, because it's just, if you can just trigger that idea to stop and then go through those steps, you can really put a stop to a lot of those heightened distress signals, because just stopping and breathing for a second has been proven to really calm the nervous system and give you that reset. And, there's, a lot of different skills you can employ, but I really love the stop skill just because of the simplicity of it. It's very poignant, and you can pretty much employ it just about any time and in a lot of different situations. But safety is the most important thing. So whenever you do stop whatever is causing your emotion to be heightened, that you are taking that step back, you are getting out of the situation, especially if it could be dangerous. So that's mine for the day, the stop skill.
Sounds like a good way to handle yourself when you're dysregulated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that think before you speak kind of same type of basic coping skill, but that's really helpful. I think that helps me a lot myself when I get upset or I feel like I'm being triggered by something. If I just go, I don't have to respond to this right this moment. And that's kind of a good emphasis point on what you said, because we oftentimes just react and we don't always consider that the reaction that we're having might not fit the situation, or that perhaps we're catastrophizing something that isn't quite as catastrophic as we're imagining, just because of how our regulation is working in that moment. And just because it may not seem like it's a big deal to other people, if it feels like it's impending doom to you, I mean, it literally can be just the smallest thing that makes you feel like the whole world is just going to stop and everything's falling apart.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, you want to see that? Have children.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely there.
Yeah. And then you have to remind them, look, it's okay. Or like the ice cream falls to the sidewalk, or the balloon floats into the sky and they start shrieking like their most beloved pet died. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. It's just a balloon, and I know that it hurts a lot, but you can easily replace this, whereas if it actually were their beloved pet, that's an appropriate response, shrieking and being upset, But yeah, kids are great for showing you that and making you really go, man, bringing it back down to size. Like, inside, when we get triggered, that little child and those tendencies to throw that tantrum or get really scared, everyone has that. So you have to think of it like, okay, I gotta parent my inner child right now. I gotta take a timeout break for my inner child, and be internally going and having that dialogue. Like, I feel like I want to rip my hair out and stomp and scream and stop breathing and kick my legs and just cry my eyes out, but I know I can't do that because I'm in the middle of the bank and they'll carry me out of here. Like, those kind of things. And when you think about that, it's not that it's an invalid response to whatever is happening, especially whenever like someone's telling you, no, you can't get your money for whatever reason and you need it and they won't let you have it. Yeah, you're valid
Yeah.
in your response and in your emotions, but how you respond and express them is what determines whether you're, arrested or not, basically.
Yeah.
So that's great, Bev. Thank you for that. So for me, creative pot, right? Protesting tips, all I got for you now that it's really getting hot is understand that they are now even lashing out at live streaming and just people walking down the road in certain places, and you could be picked up for anything at this point in time because they're like, I've seen countless people in Portland have been going out there and getting different kinds of levels of problems and different people arrested. So basically just be aware that even if you're live streaming, they might try to accost you and say you're doing something illegal. So be prepared for that and make sure you have your jail assist and bail assist lines available. Keep yourself cool because it's super hot and we're having some crazy weather. And make sure that you have a good, strong emergency network for if you ever do get picked up, because the more times that you're out there, the less chance you're going to continue to freely pass without them eventually wanting to detain you and figure out who the hell you are. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so creative pot. So this last weekend, I went to this really cool river spot. And it's not very far from where I live, but I've lived almost 5 years where I'm at. And I had never went to this place. And I seen in this one news article that they just got a new life jacket stand. And I was like, I should look up this place because, if they got a new life jacket stand, maybe it really is a nice spot for swimming. And so I looked it up and they said you could see bald eagles and there was a lot of like jasper and agate and stuff that you could just find on the beach, and that it was a great swimming spot. So we decided to go out there, and we went out there, and it really just there was a lot of diversity in the park. There were probably like 50 people there, but seeing all the families, especially when I was saying it, there was a lot of diversity. There were Hispanic families, there were black, white, every different blend of families. There were interracial families, and everybody was just out there having a good time. Nobody was being weird or uncomfortable. And as we were walking in, there was this older man who had a shirt on that said, "No humans are illegal on stolen land," and "fuck ICE" on the back. And of course I was like, hey, I love your shirt. So it was like the moment that I got there, I was like, I'm walking into this, and the vibe was so awesome. And it reminded me of something that, you would have seen in the 90s when people would go out and have a day on the river and actually have all these different families out there and enjoying the day in the summer and laughing and listening to music and being kind to each other. And it for a minute was like, even though the world's burning like it's in hell all around us in so many ways, the people doing that, taking up that space, that's an act of resistance. And it was so beautiful to see, and it was so inspiring. And so I was like, I didn't go there with the intention of it being something that would spark my creative pot at all. But those are the kinds of things that inevitably do, and they do it in a way where you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're living in a story, but it's reality. If we could all find some way to do that at least once a week, I promise you it'll make you feel better. Is when you actually get out there and you see that the world isn't full of all the hate that social media is showing us, and that people actually out there in your community are getting out there and trying to do the things that make them human again, that's again another commonality, my friends. I think it's important that we don't lose touch with what it means to be a human being. And that's basically what I got for us tonight. My final message with the Epstein List unraveling MAGA is MAGA. You don't need Make America Great Again slogan to make America great ever. All you got to do is recognize that the people beside you, your neighbors, the people that work with you in your community, all of us are united, and we're the ones that actually run this country. They work for us, and we deserve to know the damn truth about our leaders and what kind of crap they're pulling, because we don't deserve to be out here being the ones that are funding it through our taxes and get to watch our sons and daughters be the collateral damage. That said, thank you for tuning in to Around the Table episode 8, and Bev, Kendra, and I will be happy to talk to you guys when we get ready for episode 9.